All right, guys, it looks like the Facebook stream is live and YouTube should be live any minute, so you guys can feel free to share. Miss Davis, if you'd like to share it to your constituents or supporters, you're welcome to do that now too. If you go to the BRBD page, you can share it. And I'm just going to connect the chat, guys, and I'll let you know as soon as I'm ready. Okay, guys, it's all yours.
Welcome to Black Republican, Black Democrat. Tonight I'll be your co-host, Jamar.
How you doing, man?
I'm all right. Who are
I'm
you?
your other co-host, AK Kamara.
I just wanted to make sure you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Welcome. What's going on, Home Skillet?
You know, it was a crazy night last night.
It absolutely was.
Minnesota election politics. But I've been good, man. You know, I had a good week. Chill. My little puppy's growing. He's getting bigger.
What's his name, Bruno?
Beans.
Somebody.
Man. Beans the Boston Terrier. He's
Bruno.
going down the stairs now. That was like the biggest
Well, he can't walk?
He can go up the stairs just fine. He was just afraid to go down the stairs. But
Your dog's retarded.
Now he can go down the stairs.
Your dog's retarded. How can he not go up and down the stairs?
He was afraid. He had
What
to
is he,
learn.
one? What is it?
Learn from other dogs.
Oh, get out of here.
Now he's learned, and now it makes life a lot
Kobe
easier.
should come. I'll bring Kobe over, my Papillon Yorkie.
Your papillon.
Yes, to show him how to go up and down stairs.
Now he's good, though. He goes up and down the stairs. Just last thing we're waiting on is for his ears to perk up, because like it's a trademark thing with Boston Terriers is their ears stand up. His ears are still floppy.
That means he's not dangerous yet. When he becomes dangerous is when
How's
his
your
ears
week
perk
been,
up.
man?
You know what? It's been busy. It's been really busy. I know today's only Wednesday, but it's been busy. Been hectic, as you said, dealing with campaigning different deals, and last night kind of put a large caveat on what the upcoming general election is going to be in the next, what do you got, 3 months, 3.5 months we're out.
Yeah, man,
And,
it's coming up.
Last night, well, you know what, in a sense, because I've said this on the show, and you and I have talked off air, and I've said it to other folks, that I thought the primary would be bigger than it was. The showing last night on both sides was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Although your side was extremely bad. At least Democrats brought out over 100,000 voters, and you guys were nowhere near that.
Yeah,
That's a little. That's.
We'll get into that for sure. Kind of go through some of those, but before we do that, let's make sure that people know to hit that like button, hit that share button. Make sure that if you guys like what it is that we do, try and bring civility back to political discourse, that you consider becoming a subscriber to the Black Republican, Black Democrat show by going to our link tree. If you go to our link tree, that's going to connect you with all of our socials, and there's going to be a button that says Patreon. So that's the easiest way to get there. And if you become a subscriber, 100% of your subscription goes to actually producing the show. So please consider doing that, because without any subscribers, then we ain't got a show.
We don't have a show,
We
damn
don't
it.
have a show at all.
We don't say. He's begging politely. Damn it, give us some money.
Whether you're doing $10 a month, $300 a month, you know, just think whatever you feel is within your heart to support the show. Support the show.
Especially if you believe in equal opportunity.
Equal opportunity.
And wait a minute, I see. I lost my joke. I couldn't think of what's the other one? Where black folks get into colleges on
Affirmative action?
Affirmative action. If you believe, if you believe in affirmative action, give us some money, goddamn it.
Also, make sure to support our sponsors. The first sponsor is kind of new. He's been with us now for a little while, though.
Yes.
It's been a couple of months.
He's going to come back, too.
And we've had him on the show before, Dennis Smith. Now, the thing that's always been important to me about Dennis is that he does support what it is that we do. That's kind of how we became a sponsor. Came on the show. He thought we did a great job, again, bringing civil discourse back to politics, basically. But he himself helps people when it comes to end-of-life issues. And that's just being real candid about it. Whether you're trying to figure out what am I going to do if I become incapacitated, such as like a living, healthcare, a living will or any type of healthcare directive, he's going to help you with that. And when it comes to you passing away, having a trust, having a will set up that makes sense, he can help you do all of that. And so please consider visiting Dennis Smith's website. That's smithlawmn.com. You can send him an email, dennis@smithlawmn.com, or you can even give him a call because he's cool like that. Give him a call at 612-889-3971, 612-889-3971, and he also helps with setting up businesses.
He does. I
Kind
will
of
attest to that.
one-man band when it comes to figuring out a lot of life's more complex questions.
Dennis definitely rocks.
Yeah.
Dennis definitely rocks.
Now, after you do that,
If you come from Dennis's office and you got some advice,
you got some advice?
you're parched because you've been talking.
Thirsty?
Yeah.
You need to get yourself some purple drink.
Yeah.
Get
Well.
yourself some water. Get some bills. Maybe you got to pay some bills.
You gonna
Where are you going to go, man?
to the Weber Mart.
The what?
The Weber Mart.
The Weber Mart. Yeah, please check out the Weber Mart. Again, been a sponsor of the show for a very long time. Without sponsorship like Dennis and Kevin from the Weber Mart, we're not able to actually produce the show because we don't have enough subscribers yet. So please visit the Weber Mart, 1701 44th Avenue. Friendly neighborhood service.
It is, especially for North Minneapolis. Look, yes, last night was, again, incredible, bro. I mean, the turnout on your side was not there. It was a low turnout period. Let's just put that out there. And so, primaries are normally low turnout. They just are. Off your elections.
Especially depending on how competitive of races. Both of our governor candidates, there was other people on the ballot, but there was really no serious contender.
No.
But we did have, different places, different congressional districts had very competitive primary challengers. And so it was surprising to me, especially after seeing what's happened in a bunch of other states with the
last
high
Tuesday.
turnout.
Yeah.
That Minnesota just kind of fell flat, and it's weird. Republicans did not show out in ways that I thought that they would, that people would be super energized, and maybe they're saving all of their gusto for the
I doubt it.
general
I
election.
I told you as much. I think, but let me say this. I did tell you that, remember, but I'm agreeing with you because I don't want to be hypocritical. I did think that they would show up, especially for both sides with the abortion issue, right? I knew that it energized my base, but I also thought it would energize your base to come out and say, hey, to those candidates that supported and say, hey, this is how we show our support and thanks for you champion ending Roe v. Wade. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And so I think both sides now, and then so kind of leaves me pleased because I thought the Democrats. I think I said this last week that how we do a bad job of going out saying what Democrats do, and so. But what last night showed me is that both parties have still a lot of work to do, because I think that if we think that this cannot be an omen to what the general election. I mean, most general elections are pretty big, but they can wane down, right? Especially
course,
depending
yeah,
on
you
the
can have low
candidates that are going to be on the ballot. But that means both parties have got to get out, turn out their base, number one, and then go out and reach new voters. And when you look at that Don Samuels Ilhan Omar race, that's proof positive of. First of all, Democrats, as I always tell you, we're tired of other Democrats, right? We're not beholden to Democrats that aren't doing shit for us anymore, right? Now it's time to put up or shut up, or as Grandma used to say, shit or get off the pot, right? Yeah. So I think I totally underestimated the certain disdain that Democrats have for Ilhan Omar.
So what was most surprising to you about that race? Like, did you think it was going to be that close with Don?
No.
Really?
I absolutely did not.
I'm going to pat myself on the back, even though I said this in private, but I actually grabbed a couple of drinks and some food with Dennis Smith like a few weeks back, and we just kind of having a conversation, and I was like, I think that Don, I said, call me crazy. I said, there's a possibility he can win. He's like, no way. And I said, I just think that the mood that people have with Ilhan right now is just really, really sour. And I think that with the money coming in, so I know that I didn't even say it on, during the show or whatever, but that's something I've been saying. So I was not actually that surprised. I was actually surprised that the turnout wasn't bigger.
Yeah, no
right?
doubt.
I think if you add up all the votes in the Democrat primary in the 5th congressional district, I want to say it was only like under 125,000 or something.
Yeah, but that's pretty large for a primary.
That competitive though with.
But see, here's the thing: we didn't have Democrats, which is why I have no qualms with saying I publicly will say that yesterday, for the first time in my life, I voted Republican. I voted for Cicley Davis yesterday.
Oh, you did?
You know how I feel about Ilhan, and so I wanted to do what I could to stop that. Okay, and Royce fucking White. Okay. I wanted to. Okay. That's a trigger for me. It's a trigger for me.
Yeah, and if no one knows that's a trigger, go back and watch the Royce White episode and you'll understand.
It's a trigger for me. So I voted for CC yesterday. I have proof of it. I took a picture of it. And I think, again, bro, I just was amazed, though, that a lot of Democrats dislike Ilhan, right?
Yeah.
And Don losing by 2% is pretty razor thin, right?
It's like 2,800 votes.
Yeah, almost within the margin for a recount, right?
Yeah,
almost within the margin of a recount.
Yeah.
I still don't think even if it would have been, I don't think Don would have asked for one.
Sure.
Because he came out, I don't know what, like 9 o'clock last night.
Quick.
It was early.
It was super quick.
I think they had just called it. He was had the mic in front of his face, conceding.
Yeah.
I probably would not have, but he's a gracious dude, right? She can be beat. And I think that if shit, you know what? We got a guest in the house. Why not just bring
her out?
Yeah, why not? What am I doing? Ladies and gentlemen, winner of last night's primary election in the primary for the 5th congressional district. Do I say all that? Just say 5th?
Yeah.
Okay. Cicley Davis, damn it.
Welcome to the show, Cicely.
Welcome back, Cicely.
Thank you.
I mean, on a big win last night. Listen, I thought that you would crush Royce. You ended up beating him by 10 points exactly. Royce is a lazy candidate. He doesn't do the work. He thinks that everything should be given to him. Reminds me of Lacey Johnson. What a big win. And so congratulations last night. And I think that, I think that you put your party, and I think you put a lot of Democrats on notice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great to be back with you guys. Lots of laughs. It's always fun. You said something that was really key in that you voted for me.
I did.
Which was the first time. I have screenshots of other people who identify as Democrats.
In fact, I sent myself. She has proof of me voting for her. I sent it to her. Yeah.
That actually voted for me last night. And I think that you said that there is great disdain. Don Samuel spoke to it last night. That's the overall mood. And so this district, she can be beat. That is on the conscience. That's the temperature of the people in this district right now. And so I obviously am very enthused. But there's just an opportunity for me in that I can change the perspective and the optics and the idea of what the Republican Party is and how we're represented. And so I'm focused on kitchen table issues, representing the people, but also changing the brand of Republicanism in Congressional District 5. And so that's across America.
Yeah, that's a heavy lift, but I think that you do have the ability to do that. Now, I personally think that Royce is a very smart guy.
He is.
I respect what he did. It's his first time running.
I don't know if I respect what he did. I think he made a mockery of the process. Let's keep it REAL.
I told you, Cicely, before that I just thought that you had more to offer to this district than Royce had at that position of Congress. And I told you that a while ago, and it's because I had conversations with both of you, and I've done a lot of digging. And so I'm glad you're able to do that. And the truth is, you just said it, you have to be able to now focus on how do you grow on this opportunity with the mood and the disapproval in this district for Ilhan. You know, tell me just what are the main things that you want to be able to do to try and take down, flip historically the 5th Congressional District? Like, what are some things that you want to make sure that people understand?
Well, first and foremost, I want to just dissolve the divide. And what that means is that taking identity politics out of this contest. This needs to be an issue-based contest, and that's it. So we're going to do away with name calling, because the whole point of my stepping up to oppose her is that, well, okay, I'm female, she's female. We're both of color. And so I want to just literally stand against any of her attacks and to combat that that brand of identity politics and just boil it down to the basics. This needs to be an issue-based contest, period. That's it. And so that's what I'm running on. I also want to just unify this district. What people don't know is that Washington, D.C. is obsessed with what's going on in Congressional District 5, Minnesota. We have an opportunity to literally, CD5, the 15 cities of CD5, we have an opportunity, all of us, Democrat, Republican, Independent, and the like, to literally change the political landscape in America because of what happened in 2020, the optics of those black and whites filing out, the optics of that 3rd precinct burning down. We are ground zero for defund the police. We are the catalyst city that started the unrest across the country. And so we're almost obligated to be the ones to set this right and lead change. And so when you go to Kansas, Kentucky, Idaho, Alaska, they want to know what's going on in Congressional District 5. And so if you didn't know, now you know. And so this is an opportunity for everyone. Listen, Jamar voted for me, a Republican, but guess what? He's still a Democrat. So if you vote for Cicley Davis in November, you don't lose your political identity.
You don't.
You don't. You're still a Democrat.
Yes.
This is what I've been saying, is that this doesn't necessarily have to be a partisan election this time. This could actually be about 2 things: issues, kitchen table issues, and unifying a district and allowing Minneapolis to be the one to right the political ship in this country.
So
come out of here.
So I like that you're saying that, because I think that's what AK and I talk about. That's our theme, is reviving political discourse, right? Because now you can't be a Democrat and Republican and agree with each other without either one party saying, well, why are you talking to him or her, right? Isn't that important that we get rid of the divide and boil politics down to the science of issues and solutions? What's attracted me to your campaign is I hear you saying that, and then I see you going about doing the work. Is that important? Like, because how will the party change if you win November? How does that change the party? Do you think the party now, because I can't stand that word big tent, because it always scares me when I hear Republicans say, we're just a big tent party. When I hear any party say, we're big tent, it's like, that's scary. That means there's some litmus tests to get them folks in that big tent, right? So you win November, does that change the party? Does that change the apparatus, I'm using your word, of the party?
I think it does. I think that it's about forward thinking. It's about taking action and getting people to recognize that you can choose a side and you can actually choose your issues and identify with a party that you register with that party, right? But at the same time, you can have friends on the complete opposite side of the aisle, right? So we get back to what this show is all about: civil political discourse.
Right.
We need to get back to where you can actually hang a American flag in front of your, on your porch and from your house, and people not worry. And then you can put political signs up during the primary, right? I mean, because there are people saying, well, I need to wait till after primary before I have a political sign because I'm a little afraid. I don't want to cause any issues. Yes, we can change. I am looking to change the perspective of what a Republican looks like, sounds like,
you're doing that.
dresses like, how we campaign, messaging, all of it. But listen, my core belief as a Republican will always remain. I want the government to have as little say and input in my life as possible. That's my core Republican base belief system. But everything else can absolutely change and still be authentically Republican.
I think most black folks are conservative in nature. Seriously, when you we can talk about the numbers of black folks that were Republicans in the '60s, blah blah blah. I still know that. I mean, I don't like labels. I think that I'm a conservative when I need to be, or progressive when I need, depending on the issue, right? But I'm a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I think that I would say that I'm pretty conservative in nature, right? So I think that that's important. And I think again, I don't hear Ilhan saying that, right? And that to me is the difference of why you've piqued my interest in your campaign, because all this woman talks about is defund the police. The police are killing you. And listen, I know, bad impression of her. That's okay. But what she's saying is not all wrong. I mean, police are continuous, but that's not the issue. That's not the only issue that we're dealing with. We're dealing with crime, whether it's black on black crime or white on white crime. We're dealing with high crime, whether it comes to carjacking and auto thefts. Well, that is carjacking. Murders that have hit Minneapolis right now. We're at 61 murders already.
Yeah,
dude, it's August. We're at 61 murders. We ended last year 90. Okay, don't get me on the tangent. So, how does it feel to win, though? How does did you sleep well last night?
Sleep. Please define that.
I know, right?
You won't be sleeping until general election.
Help me out with that.
When is the election? November 5th or something like November? When is it? November?
Yeah, November 8th.
8th? Okay,
Yes,
so November
8th.
9th you'll sleep. Right? On my son's birthday you'll sleep.
Maybe.
Yeah,
So,
maybe, right?
I wanted to ask you, when you talk about being able to bring the ideas and the issues back into focus versus having these party labels or even ideological labels, what types of things are you going to try and do so you can actually have those conversations? Because here's what I feel. My feeling is the moment that someone hears that you're a Republican, they shut their doors. And I'm not saying individuals, I'm saying organizations, whether it's churches or community groups. So how do you get through that,
Yeah. I think, number one, we just need to start by being authentic, right? I'm more than just my political affiliation. So my ask is that you listen and that you're open to me as an individual. Peel that away. Two, we have to just decide that we need to give up our right to be offended, right? We're not going to agree 100%. That's even within marriage. That's even within twins and triplets. There's going to be disagreements. We have to accept certain things about humanism. How do we address political paralysis, right? We're asking questions, and we have to engage. But I think if we set up those rules, give up your right to be offended, so that we can open up and engage. And we have to accept certain things. We're just not going to agree 100% on everything. But I need to hear. When you hear Republican, what do you hear? What does that make you feel? When I hear Democrat, what does that make me feel, and what do I hear? Okay, where do we agree? Let's get there first and work backwards or work forward or figure out ways that we can agree. Kids do it all the time. Kids do it all the time on the playground. They figure out ways. You know what? My family comes from this side of the tracks. Yours come from this side of the tracks. But when it's recess, we figure out a way to make friends. And we group up and we grab friends along the way. And pretty soon we got a great game of kickball or dodgeball, or we're building sandcastles, or we're on the swing set. Adults can do the same thing. We've forgotten how to do that.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Kids do it all the time.
Why should Democrats, soft Democrats or Democrats period, why should Democrats give your campaign a chance instead of Ilhan? I mean, again, last night was proof positive that they're tired of her. They're tired of her.
There's a large percentage that surely are.
No, I mean a great big deal, and that doesn't change. Believe me, that doesn't change all of a sudden because Don is out the race. I think that they're looking for a champion, and you probably going to be it. But Why should they give you a chance though over Ilhan? I mean, if I'm that Democrat, I voted for you. This Democrat voted for you, so I know why I'm giving you a chance. But other folks that don't know you personally, why should they give this campaign a shot?
Well, again, it's just about it's based on the issues. That's what I'm running on. I am truly, truly, really interested in getting back this district. We are so divided, and that's what this campaign, her campaign, is going to be. Attack on me and attack on emotion. It's going to be about division. It's going to be calling me an Islamophobe. It's going to be addressing who endorsed me, and they're out of Washington, and they're associated with Trump, so you can't trust her. And it's going to be all kinds of things to divide versus actually addressing the issue. So I'm telling everyone right now, watch for that for the next 90 days. We are 90 days away.
Damn, is it just 90 days?
That's it. We are literally
3 months,
90 days. Yeah.
Wow.
And then early voting is September 23rd, so...
Wow.
Yeah. So watch for the division versus actually talking and discussing the issues and answering those tough questions. They should vote for me because, I believe that the Democratic Party itself has truly been hijacked. We're not dealing with, there were DFL people voting for Don Samuels. The progressives are something completely different. I think that we can literally get back to civil political discourse if we cut that out. And that's what that representation was, who voted for Don Samuels.
So when you talk about getting down to the issues, what have you been hearing as you've been out and about? How do you try and keep it about it? Because I think, from my experience, Ilhan has always been, a punching bag, lightning rod for Republicans. Like, if you tell someone that you're from Minnesota, they'll be like, oh, Ilhan, and then X, Y, and Z about that person, right? Like, that's how people refer, and they don't understand the power that she has had within this district. So that's a very large presence to have to contend with. But what are you hearing from people that makes you feel so confident that keeping it about issues and not about the personalities is going to be the way to go forward?
Oh, great question. And this is why I've been attacked and saying I'm not tough enough, and I'm just not interested in elevating Ilhan and going on attack. I'm actually interested in answering the question, why Cicley Davis? Okay?
Word.
I'm hearing.
Can you say that again so that the previous guys and gals that ran against her will understand why the hell they lost?
If you question why I'm not attacking her and things like that, is number one, I understand that that's just going to cause a visceral reaction. But it's more about answering why Cicley Davis versus attacking Ilhan. So don't worry if I'm tough. I have the gumption. I have what it takes to go to D.C. But answering the question, why Cicley Davis? Here's what I'm hearing. I'm talking to people who punch clocks, okay? People who punch clocks say, in the middle of my week, I have to decide how much I'm going to put in the gas tank to get me to Friday to payday, and then how much, then the rest of it goes to the grocery bags, right? So I have $50. How much is it going to take? Okay, I can spend $30 on gas, and the other $20, I'm going to just buy some basics and groceries to get me until payday. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that my dollar is buying a whole lot less. I'm hearing I'm stressed out about buying school supplies because we're nearing back to school, okay? I'm hearing, we actually didn't take vacation this summer because we've spent so much on gas and supply is so low that we had to forego the vacation so that we can have some savings to buy school clothes. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing from people who punch clocks, not the people who wake up and they get on their Peloton, right? And they watch a beautiful big screen. And then when they're done, they have their almond toast and their avocado spread.
And grape, don't forget Grey Poupon.
And right, those people, who can actually afford to buy safety for their own communities, say defund for the North Minneapolis zones. That's not who I'm speaking to. I'm knocking doors and hearing from people who punch clocks.
Cicely, I've heard you mention crime. I heard you mention in a speech you were talking to black and brown mothers and was telling them, explaining to them, talking about the high crime and telling them, don't they want their babies to come home at night? And I think that black mothers love hearing that from another black woman. That's just the truth, because you do worry about your child coming home at night. How do we deal with crime?
Right.
Ilhan's not dealing with it. Her idea to deal with it. Yeah, and yes, I'm bashing her. I'm spending the show bashing her ass, and I'm supposed to be impartial, but I'm not. She talks about defunding.
Right.
Police need reforming. There's no doubt about it. And so again, some of the things she says about the police are right. But that's not the whole issue. We're dealing with severe crime. How do we do? How does Congresswoman, is it woman, right? It would be Congresswoman.
I mean, you could call her Congresswoman. Still.
You can say
Okay.
Congresswoman. I'm
Okay.
actually not offended by
But
that.
how would Congressman Davis, the Congresswoman, it sounds, because it sounds like the dude off of Good Times. So you ain't hip. How does that? What would you do? What's your? Because crime it's growing exponentially as we speak. A 14-year-old got shot yesterday, or last night as we speak, and then today on Broadway, there was another shooting in the McDonald's parking lot that someone left someone in critical condition. She doesn't talk about that. You do.
Mm-hmm. So when you start talking about those babies, and I did like this is what I see.
That's right.
Nodding heads from Mama Bears.
Yeah.
Well, right now we don't have sufficient levels of police officers to address crime, and I'm talking about top tier crime. I'm talking about violent things. I'm talking about violence against women. I'm talking about domestic violence. I'm talking about gun violence. I'm talking about carjackings and things that leave everyone, of course, but certainly Mama Bears worried. So number one, we get the city council to actually, the charter means something. We need police that are police numbers sufficient enough to actually address crime. So that when I pick up the phone and I'm under attack or I need police presence, they're there in a matter of minutes that can help save a life or help me feel safe. We need to talk about reform. We need honest conversation.
Wait a minute. You're Republican. You're not supposed to talk about reform. You're not supposed to say that word.
I've been done told you that.
What?
Republicans have been 100% on board for reform.
Really?
100%.
Who?
Every single one that you talk.
Not that nigga in Washington. What's his name? That was on had the bipartisan.
Tim Scott?
Yeah, not that nigga.
Tim Scott was all about reform. He just didn't want the
He was a
qualified
tool.
immunity.
He was a tool. But seriously, I mean, okay, I kid, but you don't hear many Republicans talking about reform because again, that's the dog whistle and your base. Your base doesn't really want to hear reform because that means now that's a dirty word. That's Spanish, I guess, for defund. But it really isn't. When you talk reform, it doesn't mean ridding our cities of the police department. It means reforming the police department, bringing in police that are reflective of communities, right?
And accountability.
I don't want to put words into your mouth.
Accountability and transparency. But I think where we are is that we need real definitions. Because, again, when you're coming from different sides of the table politically, what one thing means to you means something different to me. So we need real definitions, first of all. When I say reform, what do you mean by that? We need to start asking questions and drawing that out.
Yeah, that's
right?
important, yeah.
That's important.
Because that's just a key word thrown out, right?
So
yes.
when I hear equity, I hear one thing, Democrats hear something altogether different. So let's start defining what that means. And I think this is where we have that divide once again. And so words have meaning. Words have meaning. And so then we react and we form policy according to meaning. So we need to get people, we need to get experts. We need crime experts at the table. We need community members.
I was just about to ask that. Thank you. Does that mean community members?
Citizens. We need community members at the table, and we need to have a full, robust discussion about crime and policy and what words actually mean, and then we can form policy and come across the table on that very definition. That's where the issue is, that you hear one thing, I hear another.
So one of the aspects that I've always found so fascinating is that when we start talking about these issues, I think that more people at the end of the day care about all the things that affect their family. Like that's like top tier priority.
Yeah.
And when you have like, here's the thing.
Yep.
Ilhan will sit there and she'll talk about, climate change and things like that. And if you go to North Minneapolis to a family that's hurting and you're trying to convince them that, oh, if we do all of these things and you'll just have to worry less about this, I think that falls on deaf ears. And it doesn't mean that you don't care about the climate. So, are you hearing that people need something, more direction from a congresswoman? Because that's what it feels like, is that when it comes to, your federal office, right? Like, you can tell me all day that you want to do crime reform, but really you're being a broker because, you have to go through Congress and you have to pass a bill. But that power that you have as a congressperson means that you can kind of broker things, because I know that's what good Congress people do. So for you, when you're talking with families, what type of issues do you want to, are you hearing from them, and what type of issues are you kind of coming back with, like things that you want to do?
Yeah. So top 3: crime, cost of living, inflation, education. Okay. Those are the top 3. I'm across the board, whether you're in Minneapolis, Fridley, Edina, those are the top 3. There needs to be, Don Samuel said it last night so well, so eloquently, in that you can't put your own personal interests above the constituency. Mm-hmm. As a congressperson, your job is to represent the wants and desires of the people of your district. Not about you. It's a service role. The role is servitude. And so if it's about clickbaits, if it's about political theater, if it's about, activism to where you're not actually achieving, people are starting to recognize. And so they're like, can we afford a 3rd term and risk this with this leader? Or do we want to actually just decide to step out and take a chance on someone else? People are becoming more aware, more politically savvy. They're starting to research, weigh data, and then come up with their own conclusions. They're not just accepting politics by way of WCCO News at 5 anymore. They're willing to research, and I think that very smart people showed up at the polls, even though I saw a lot of political apathy in those numbers that you both were discussing early. But I think that very smart people are showing up at the polls. But the progressive leaning that's in this district isn't the whole. No. It's not the true reflection. Families, the American majority, were on the 48th percentile side, and the Democrats. And as far as Republicans go, that's a whole other.
I'll tell you this.
One of the things that I've seen, and this is what I think, is that the idea of having a progressive, if you want to say, issue belief system is not bad in and of itself. I think that you just can't get anything done. So, like, you can come with all of your amazing progressive ideas, but the question is, well, how can you actually get those things done if there's no one else that you can actually do something with, right? And so I think
Uncle Joe gets things done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Uncle Joe gets things done.
But that's the thing, is that, even talking about Uncle Joe, how great of a relationship did Joe Biden have with Ilhan Omar?
Don't know.
Right, exactly. No. So that's the thing, is that that's what people realize, is that there might be people that are progressive even that are like, well, Ilhan's ride or die. But the question is, what has she been able to actually do?
We got 2 people that on our fan page that said congratulations. Brian Warfield said congratulations, and our biggest fan, Carlotta, one of our biggest fans, Carlotta Arredondo, she said congratulations as well, and she voted Republican too last night. So, and she was a huge Don Samuel supporter. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. I think the atmosphere is changing, bro. Again, the great disdain. I did the same thing for Hillary Clinton. It was kind of, honestly, it was like me for Hillary Clinton, where I didn't see it. I love Hillary Clinton. I still don't understand why people hate her, but I just underestimated the dislike for her, the disdain for the lady. Mm-hmm. Last night, I think you and I talked earlier, and you were like, Jamar, did you imagine, like, F no. Mm-hmm. I did not. I would be lying to you if I thought, man, she's going to go down. I didn't see it. I didn't think she would lose, but I did not know it would be so razor thin. I thought she would kill Don. I have to admit, I thought she would kill Don. Don ran a great campaign, and that's what I mean. So you and Don are on the same path.
Right.
Don he doesn't attack personally. He's staying issue and solution driven and focused, and that's how you can defeat the heifer, is staying and getting these people out. Damn, you're right, and just damn, not enough. What I think he lost by how many people? How many votes did he lose by?
2,800.
2,800. Mm-hmm. So damn. Cicely, don't want to hold you here forever. What's next for your campaign? I mean, that was a big win. I think that was big. And then, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first time that somebody black has won the endorsement for this particular who?
Barb Davis White was the endorsed Republican.
Oh, she's black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Oh, and it's another woman then, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So,
but
okay.
a much smarter, more politically savvy candidate in Cicely.
and better looking.
I interacted with Barb Davis White. I think she's a very, very nice woman. But when it came to politics,
she wasn't all there, huh?
Davis White. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Right. So,
right.
So what's next for the campaign? I mean, now the national spotlight's about to be shined on you. Mm-hmm. Your race is going to heat up. There's going to be money that's going to come in bad against you. Like you said, she's going to throw everything at you, everything from the kitchen sink about Donald Trump. And now they're going to be, what do they call those embeds that watch every...
Incels?
No. I think they call it incels. The guys and gals that they send around to the different campaigns. Yeah.
I'm on a completely different.
Oh, see, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. They have those people, that find everything out a little about you. Anyway, that's how you know that you're doing well. Are you ready for that, number one? And then, again, what's next for you?
Right. I am ready for that. I think that I just need to put my money where my mouth is and make this an issue-based contest. That's what we're going to do. I also need to spend time the next 90 days in building some trust in those who do not identify like I do politically. They need to feel safe that if they actually go into the booth and stroke an R, that I won't betray that trust.
Word.
Right?
Will you?
So
you win.
Yep.
Can black Democrats, progressives that give you a chance instead of Ilhan, can they trust Cicley Davis?
They can trust me, and so that's what I plan to prove.
I love that.
I know that it's just not blindly given. I know that you earn it. I'm going to spend the next 90 days
you said she was
addressing the issues, those kitchen table issues, but also building that trust. That's what's missing. I think that there's such a widespread trust of political figures across the country. And so someone has to champion that unification and bringing that back. And so I'm very interested in that. I want to shut down the whole entire notion of the political celebrity and get it back to just being a public representative. And so that's what I plan to do. And so, they can trust that if they go in the booth and they strike an R, right, that it's still a district that they can be proud of, and that they don't lose their political identity, but we can get this district back.
Will you be a Washington? Will you become a Washington insider? Will you not going to be home enough? Can people count on looking for you? Will you still continue to be accessible as you have been? Because I don't know if you've seen her in action. Her retail politics skills is on point.
She's out there.
But will you continue to be accessible as you are now? I mean, and let's give any politician that, especially federally, it's easier to say, yes, I can be accessible as I can. And then sometimes, you get monkey wrenches thrown at you. We know that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, will you continue to be accessible for your constituents?
Right. And so the answer is yes. But truly, what I want to do is get back the original idea of being a congressional representative. You're a representative of the people. So the people need to see you and hear you and touch you and understand what's going on. So you need to come back as often as possible. Shutting down the celebrity, right? Not becoming a part of the DC only club, right? I really care about this district and the people in it. I just want a chance, and I'm just willing to work for it. So,
Word.
Yeah.
That's Cicely. It really fills my heart to hear you say that, because Republicans don't say that enough, and not politicians, candidates don't say that enough. That's genuine. You're not saying. I've never heard you say give. You've been saying ask, earn. That's what politics is about. That's grassroots, right? To go back to those people and ask those people for their votes instead of assuming, believing in the blue wall or believing in the red wall that because of that district they'll fall in the line. No, I love that you're going to go out and earn that, continue to go out and earn that because you've been visible. I think that's one of the reasons, that's the primary reason, pun intended, that you beat Royce White is because you were out doing the work. I wasn't everywhere Royce was, but I'm pretty active. I didn't see Royce doing the work. I think Royce was one of those candidates that wanted to give it to him.
Yeah, I think the idea that you're putting forth about being a representative of the people and having, if you want to say, the humility to not want to take the celebrity that goes with it, it reminds me a lot of someone like,
Mitt Romney.
Well, no, back in the days, right? like J.C. Watts, right?
He was a good dude, yeah.
There are Congress people that
dead.
wanted to actually be in the district, helping to be a not there for celebrity, but there to, again, be a broker. Like, you don't understand, like, you still, as a congressman, as a congresswoman, you control the purse strings of the entire country. Correct. And so there are plenty of relationships that you build, but that's the thing. You're supposed to go and represent the interests in DC, but also it comes back the other way, where there might be a congressman from, Ohio that has a good idea of, like, this business is, so you're brokering deals for your district. It doesn't always have to be just, you went and cast this vote. Yes, that is clearly an important part, but that's the other thing, is that you're supposed to be doing things in your district, because you have the ability to represent the will of the people. So you should be in the district talking to the people and helping to connect hands, shake hands. That's what, to me, it's kind of like the idea of what the citizen representative was. So that's what it sounds like you want to be. Yeah. That you're not going to take that low-hanging fruit, because let's be honest, okay? You get elected, there's going to be a lot of people that want to be part of the Cicley Davis. They want to write books about you, movies about you, and, like, you're going to be the rock star. They're going to want to fly you out, and that desire to be pulled away is so hard for a lot of people, because I don't think that Ilhan wanted that, but once she got it, she was
what?
Like, now I get.
You don't know her?
I don't know her.
I've been knowing her.
She's always wanted to be famous.
She's a pat. Damn, I can't say it.
Pathological.
No, a pad stuffer. She's always wants to be the first. What's her nationality? First Muslim American to do this. The first. It's like. Sit your ass down. Take a seat. Take several seats.
So I say all of this to say that that's what drives you, is to be there for the people.
Yeah. This is service. You got to remember that this is a position of service. If you're not interested in that, if you're not interested in people, don't step up.
Word, I love that. That's a great way to end. How can you can't say shit else more. But yes, you can. Tell folks where they can find you, where your appearances are coming up, and how they can help you. They can donate, all that. Yeah,
go to CicleyDavis.com, CicleyDavis.com. I spell it with a C. CicleyDavis.com. You know what? If I do a meet and greet, can you come out? Especially if you're identify as Democrat or Independent, I would love to meet you. Let's engage. It's great to have meet and greets where the base come out, but I know the base. I want to give you an opportunity, and I want an opportunity to meet you and know you. So go to CicleyDavis.com. Listen out for LB next, and let's shake hands and let's swap ideas and let's change this political arena, so I want to call it something else, but let's change politics for all of America, and this district can lead it.
Right on. Well, thank you so much again for coming on. I think this is your third time.
Yes.
So, like, I don't know, you get like a.
I need one more, just
like a mug or something. We'll get like
one more before election.
That'll come
more.
On.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamar, I wanted to ask you as well, were there any races that you felt were, like, shocking to you when it came to the primary?
Ooh, good question.
Here?
Yeah.
Here in Minnesota?
Yeah. Was there any?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Turnout? Like, were you surprised that Betty McCollum beat the brakes off of?
No.
Amani?
I might have met her. I met her and I know her personally. Very sweet young lady. Raised a shit ton of money. But, I mean, when you go up against these machines, I mean, it's hard to beat machines like that. That's so prepared, like Betty McCullough. But John, I mean, let me give a shout out to my friend John Thomas, state rep, who lost last
Thompson
night.
or
Thompson.
Thomas?
I'm sorry. I'm
You're
thinking about Dave,
calling
right?
the man the
Thinking
wrong
about
name.
Dave. John Thompson, who lost last night. But we spent a lot of time together last night, and he took it like a champ. And we talked about a couple of hours ago. He sounded the same too. He still sounded the same. He's decided on what he's going to do. He's not going for it. He's going to, not
done,
run.
sure.
Yep. And come January, but he's just deciding what to do going forward. But I was very happy to see how graciously he took the loss. He took a pummeling, as is that what white folks say?
Yeah, beating, pummeling.
Pummeling.
I pummeled him.
Pummeling. He took a pummeling last night, and but I still got mad respect for him. I love this dude. I love everything about him. I sometimes hate the way he's mischaracterized, and I hate sometimes, obviously, how he can step in it.
Yeah.
But his heart is so full of passion for his people in this community, in this state. And I think the East Side is going to miss him when they bring in this heifer that is some carpetbagger that Betty McCullough, Keith Ellison, and all those people piped in. She's a carpetbagger. And so I think they're going to get what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So I wanted to give a shout out to Jai Hansen for the Hennepin County Sheriff race.
Yes.
He came in a little bit short, but Jai is an amazing human being. The fact that he ran and we had him on the show, he listens and he watches all the time, and I just have mad respect for him.
Yes.
I'm not sure what he's gonna do next in his.
I voted for him last night.
Yeah, did
I
you?
voted for him.
And I
voted
couldn't
for him.
'cause I live
You're not in this. Yeah.
Washington County. But so I just wanted to give a shout out to Jai.
Absolutely.
There was a couple of other races as well. There's
Did Kim Crockett? I think Kim Crockett won. You're friends. You're friends with Kim. Well, I don't know if you're friends, but Kim Crockett's a good lady. I know Kim Crockett's. That's a tongue twister from my days at the other station, and she won last night. So congratulations to Kim. And Hollis Winston, our boy Hollis Winston, won last night.
I saw that.
For Pete's sakes, he won.
He got
So
it.
I guess the fifth time is. I mean, the third time. I don't know. If at first you don't succeed, you try again.
Talked about a lot of bold ideas in regards to handling some of that apartment complex that's been kind of
the Huntington Place.
Yep. So it was kind of crazy. Oh, there's one last story that I don't know if you know this. So Mall of America went into lockdown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My wife and her family was there, and I was on the phone with her, and it was crazy. It was.
So my ex-wife was there at the. Well, I won't say where she works at, but was very near there, extremely, and we might be divorced, but it was pretty,
that's still
my kids, my son, we were panicking,
Yeah, it was so crazy because I actually
and Kyle, the race car driver,
Kyle Busch,
he was here. He and his family was here near the location, and they escaped. Dude, are you serious?
See, my wife was locked down with her family members. They were all in the store, and they were in there. We didn't know if it was what was going on. I made a TikTok video on it.
Did you?
Got like over 100,000 views.
Well, of course you do. That's all you do.
Yeah, and TikTok is
I
just wanted to shout out my brother-in-law, Will. He jumped to basically into action. He's been in the military for a bunch of years, and him and my sister-in-law are back together. So he's technically not my brother-in-law, but they're back together. They're married, had a bunch of kids. But he jumped into action, and so I just want to give shout out to his actions of putting himself in harm, not knowing what's going on, to protect my wife, obviously his kids, and my sister-in-law. So that was crazy, man. It was such.
Well, he sounds like some of the things that I've heard Cicely say about leave nobody behind, leave no man behind, right?
Yeah.
So when I heard,
because I got to the mall and I actually got to walk in because things were just chaotic. And I was strapped, and I wanted to get to the store that my wife is at, but obviously the cops were like, "Dude, you got to leave here." But it felt like I couldn't do anything about it. But I just wanted to shout out to my brother.
Absolutely, shout out to Will and to all the people that remained calm and got out of there safe. And went through that traumatic event, So shout out to you guys, But like Cece says, we leave nobody behind. Leave no man behind, right? And that's
man or woman or child.
Leave no one behind. So your brother, obviously, that's where you got that mentality from. Is not leaving anybody behind. That's why he jumped into service. So big shout out to Will and to any armed servicemen and women that were there, and because those guys, they jumped right into play. I seen that cop. He was. Not gear. They had no gear on, so they didn't know if this was an active shooter. Well, it wasn't well, they were shooting at each other, so it wasn't, I guess, active. I don't know if that's what you're gonna act. He was active as.
Well, active shooters
Usually
like if they stay
someone
in
else, right?
From place. It was
But
like shot.
Active enough where they didn't know where
they didn't
the
know.
guys were, and they too, those Bloomington police put themselves in harm's way. I just
did.
going out, so big shout out to them too. All cops, see, that's what I'm saying. All cops ain't bad.
No, of
right?
course not. We need cops.
We need cops. Cops need love too. Cece, congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Please come back.
I'll be back.
Great work tonight, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm AK Kamara.
I'm Jamar.
Peace.
Oh, wait. I got, wait. When I think about Ilhan Omar beating Cicley Davis in November's general election, I come up with...
Man, Jenga's gonna kill that boy.
See y'all next week.